Yes, it is that time once again. Double coverage sports talk presented by Elevated Sports. It's episode 26, and we're here in the TexAgs studios with a couple of guests for this show. Luke is not a guest, but I mean, all right. To my right, I have Leah Musgrave. She's TexAgs, Miss TexAgs everything. She does a little bit of everything for the company. And then Elisa Schmidt over here. And man, Elisa, you are one of the best photographers that we have.
Thank you.
Passionate redhead, alongside Luke. But guys, today we wanted to bring you guys on and talk all things Aggie sports. We have football, we have basketball, we have some game show trivia coming up later, a little bit of spice to episode 26 where we'll do the redheads versus the blondes. I'm kind of in between teams if you listen to Olin on TexAgs radio, but it's going to be a good time. And guys, I want to start here with Texas A&M football. We are just 7 days out from recruiting National Signing Day, and A&M has 3 slots left in this class, and there's a lot of talk about if Texas A&M is going to flip Javon Shepard, the offensive lineman from Texas. And Luke, I'll start with you. I want to get everybody's opinion on what are your 3 players that you would like to see fill those slots first and foremost.
Well, I don't know if I would have 3. I have 1, and it's Javon Shepard because he is a absolute animal. Plus, it's somewhat likely that we can flip him. I don't really play these antics in these games, but he did take off his pinned tweet on Twitter that he was committed to Texas.
He did?
And I know he really liked his visit here, and he looked like a gargantuan human in his pads and everything. I really like him, though, because I want to continue to beef up the offensive line. But besides that, I mean, yeah, if we can get Sofsher, that'd be great. But I'm very happy with where the recruiting class is now. Yes, we're behind Texas in the rankings, but we have a much greater coach developer in Jimbo Fisher than Tom Herman. But yeah, I would go Shepard, but there's not like a 3 that I'm really needing for this recruiting class.
Yeah, and Alyssa and Leah, go ahead and give me your 3. I guess, Alyssa, we'll start with you.
I guess I'm with Luke, too, I would just go with Shepard first and foremost. First, as I think every Aggie, we want to take people away from Texas, you know, and I think every Aggie also is in the mindset of we want to show that Texas is not back. And I think that would really take, a spice away from their recruiting class for them. I was around a bunch of the recruits a couple weeks ago, and I mean, it would be hard for me to name 3 because all of them, being around them, they all have their own personality, they have their own skills, they have their own little spice that they would bring to the team. But I think bringing Shepard onto this team would really benefit us and bring that extra oomph to our recruiting class.
Sure.
So mine would be Jay Ward, who is somebody I'm not willing to let go of yet. He's kind of on the outside looking in, but just not ready to let go of that one yet. Javon Shepard, of course, I feel like that's on every Aggie's radar right now. I know he's fighting multiple schools, and I mean, we're fighting the battle against multiple schools, and they're good schools. It's Georgia, LSU, Texas, Alabama, all of those schools that have elite recruiting classes. And I think if we could win that battle, that would mean a lot for Texas A&M. And I would like Chris Russell, linebacker from Tennessee. I think he's in between LSU and A&M. And I know that people have been kind of concerned that maybe we don't have that much depth at linebacker coming in next year, but I think that would be a huge asset to our defense, and I would love to see those 3.
Yeah, one linebacker from Tennessee leaves. We bring another in, and Chris Russell.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, and, someone put out a question on Twitter the other day. Would you rather beat Alabama at home next year or make it 2 in a row against LSU? And a lot of people immediately said Alabama. Get that home win against Alabama, and I agree. That would be awesome. But I think when you look at who Texas A&M is currently in the trenches with recruiting-wise, there's a lot of guys that it's coming down to A&M or LSU. And so I think I would rather go into Death Valley and beat LSU on their home turf, no doubt in front of recruits that we'll be fighting against, right? Alabama is kind of a generational power, and they'll fall eventually whenever Nick Saban decides to retire. Texas
any day
A&M,
now. Saban.
Yeah, exactly. Texas A&M will get those games, but I think as far as recruiting momentum goes, I would really like to see us get that step up against LSU. You talked about Jay Ward, the corner. It really feels like he's probably going to go to Kentucky or Florida State at this point, but we'll have to wait and see. Chris Russell, like you said, A&M, LSU. There's just a lot of guys. Ishmael Softsher, an athlete, probably going to LSU, as is Devontae Lee, which it sounds like they're going to let him play wide receiver at LSU, which A&M wanted to bring him in as a linebacker. But all of that to say, I think if I had to pick three, Braden Mowry, the defensive end, would sign with A&M, and he would be on campus in the fall, in the summer, I guess. His grades are a little bit of an issue right now, but from everything that we're hearing kind of in the media, his grades are improving, and he's committed to making sure that those, kind of blunders academically don't happen again. Like you said, Javon Shepard, that would be huge. Y'all explained that really well, so I won't go over that again. And then, if we could get a Chris Russell, a guy that could come in and solidify that linebacker depth, because while I don't think we're going to be incredibly thin at the starting linebacker spot, I think we're going to have the talent that it takes to compete in the SEC. It would be nice to have another guy in case someone goes down. That's what killed A&M this year, right? Was injuries. You had Okeke go down, you had Hines go down, Alaka went down for a little bit, spurts of the season. But what do y'all think? What is the biggest need for Texas A&M, either on signing day or going forward into 2020?
I guess I will begin this.
Anybody.
There it is. Interesting to know about linebackers. I was talking to Olin, and only 3 games they started 3 linebackers in 2018. They played a lot of nickel. And
right, Elko runs at 4.25.
Yeah, so linebacker depth is not as like a red flag as we think it is, which is good. And you've got 2 guys in Buddy Johnson and Anthony Hines that could be dynamic, but they're both outside guys. So one of them's they're gonna have to develop to be able to play inside, which I'm not worried about. I would say offensive line. I'm not worried about them, but that's the position group I'd like to see the biggest leap from.
Yeah.
Run blocking was great, but pass blocking was iffy sometimes with the youth. But we're bringing back a lot of guys, which is great. We possibly have the 2 greens starting at each tackle, which would be nice. But the thing that goes with that is Mond. It's a pairing of Mond being able to get the ball off faster, as well as when the defensive coverage is doing really well and his receivers aren't getting open, is his offensive line buying him that extra time a few times throughout the game. So I'd say offensive line. I'm not worried about them, but I'd like to see them take the greatest leap.
Right. Ladies?
I think Eric McCoy is going to be the one who is difficult to replace.
Yeah.
And I know, with the current depth that we have, I, would like to see us grow because we are competing at an elite level in the SEC, and it starts in the trenches. And so I would agree with you that the offensive line is something that I would like to see improve, but I'm just going to have to say I would like to see improvement in our secondary. That was a place where we were weak last year, and I think when we bring in those reinforcements, I think that's where we're going to be able to take the next step.
Yeah. I think I'm kind of siding with Luke on this. One, I think I'm actually worried about the offensive line because I'm worried about both sides of the ball. I'm worried about defensive line and I'm worried about offensive line. We lost some really great leaders on and off the field. There's no question about that. And I think when you're bringing in the type of recruiting class we are, tied with the players we have that have yet to graduate or haven't declared for the draft or whatever, I'm looking for people who are going to step up and take the places of McCoy, of Gillespie, of those players that, their leadership was key, and we don't have that anymore. Right. And someone like Gilly, he was someone who eventually scored, but also he was one that, we could count on him to make a block. We could count on him to be on kickoff return and punt and everything else. Someone who's going to be multi-purposeful. Someone like Gilly, I think we need more of those players. And so that's why I'm worried about offense. Defense, I'm worried that there's not going to be a leadership on that front.
Nice. I have to say, as a Texas A&M fan, I'm just intrigued to see who's going to replace Cullen Gillespie as the 12th man, because those are some big shoes to fill.
Yeah,
I don't think I'm ready. I don't think.
Not ready to say goodbye.
I'm not ready. I have been a Gilly supporter. I went to high school with him, friends with him, and I cried my eyes out on senior night. Cried my eyes out when he scored the touchdown. I'm not ready.
Almost as much crying as Luke does when watching The Bachelor, right?
Yeah.
Right. It's a tear-jerking TV show. If I still had my long hair, I could be the next 12th man.
You could just be like
I'm a shade away from maroon hair.
But you and I routinely say whenever watching football together, like watching someone take a tough hit, you're like, oh, bring the card out if that's me. I'm not getting up. So I think,
you're very true about that. I mean, if I am asked to run a slant route, I'm running a fade.
Yeah.
You guarantee I'm breaking the route outside.
See, I think when I told my mom, when I was in junior high, I was like, Mom, I want to play football. And now I look at it, and I'm like, going up against those Bama defensive linemen or those Georgia offensive linemen. Nope.
Sign me up.
I'm going to be running the other way. Like,
Absolutely.
I'll float. I'm throwing that white flag.
Yeah.
Goodbye. Nope.
Well, we've been talking about recruiting, and I want to get y'all's thought on this as well. There's news coming out that both the Student Council for Texas and Texas A&M have voted in support of a student-wide poll to reinstate the football rivalry. Obviously, we play each other in other sports. We haven't played each other in basketball in, I think, 2 years, but we'll play in baseball, swimming and diving, track. You name it, we play the Longhorns. But football, obviously, has been missing since 2011 when Texas infamously beat A&M on Kyle Field. So let me get y'all's thoughts. Do you support, first of all, the reinstatement of the rivalry? And secondly, do you want to see it? If you do want to see it come back, is this the way that you want to see it reinstated?
No.
Okay. No to which part?
No. See, I would love to see the Aggies take on the Longhorns in the Sugar Bowl on New Year's Day. And to me, that would be the perfect way to reinstate that rivalry. I might be alone over here, but I just think, look at the way that Georgia played against Texas. You take the second place Big 12 team, the second place SEC team, and put them head to head in the most football day of the year, New Year's Day in the Sugar Bowl. I think that to me would be the most perfect way to reinstate that rivalry.
If you're going to do it big.
Oh, it would be done big.
Again, that's out of our control. But to me, I feel like that would be a way to test our strong competition the way that we've grown in the SEC as opposed to those lackluster Big 12 defenses and pit them head to head in something, where something is really on the line.
Right.
I think in a perfect world, I would replace the Arkansas game with Texas and play at Jerry World because that, one, would financially be unbelievable for revenue.
Yeah.
Two, football fans love traveling out of town to go to a game. And three, it's Jerry World. The Death Star is fantastic.
Yeah,
but that's also a perfect world. And it's
but
also,
is it? I would hate, I would love to see if Texas and A&M did start playing again. I would rather it be home and home style.
okay.
Because
that's actually
Jerry
a really good
World
point.
is fun, but I don't think really anyone feels like the A&M Arkansas game means anything right now. Maybe if Arkansas eventually pulls off some upsets, which I'm not rooting for.
Hey, maybe Stark will transfer.
But
Okay, whoa.
but right now that game
Step
really
aside,
has
story. Let's go.
that game has no meaning. It has a little bit of drama whenever Arkansas miraculously nearly sends us to overtime every single year. But there's really not a rivalry there quite yet. For Texas and A&M, there's no question. It would be a rivalry. It would be a prime time, ABC 8 o'clock kick. I would really, as great as that would be in Jerry World, just to see those two teams playing, I would much rather have it be at Kyle Field and then at DRK.
I will honor that for sure.
Yeah.
Also, it'd be hard to go back to the Thanksgiving Day game because now we play LSU and I don't know how it would work.
Hey,
I'm in favor of the game.
Hey, you wanted your rivalry. You got your rivalry.
I think we can
LSU.
work around scheduling if we
And
get
the rivalry
back.
was when they played each other. That was before my time as an A&M fan.
Yeah.
That's when I was all in on my Gators and Jayhawks, which at one point was just an unbelievable possible bandwagon.
Sure.
It was not because I'm from Florida and my mom's from Kansas. But I've been loyal to the Gators through the the dark ages post Tebow.
2008 and 2009 were your years.
Also, I saw this is completely unrelated, but I saw a picture of people who were on campus in like 2008 at Florida. It was
Oh yeah,
Brandon Spikes, Aaron Hernandez, Percy Harvin, the Olympic swimmer that got in trouble.
Ryan
in Rio.
Lochte.
He was on campus.
Yeah.
Urban Meyer. I mean,
Cam Newton.
Florida was a dangerous
he got in
campus.
trouble. Yeah,
Golly.
You should have had a warning before entering.
bunch of stars
but
there.
winning a ring makes up for anything. So
Yeah.
it
So
covers sins everywhere.
yeah, I just think, and Alyssa, I want to get your thoughts too. I just think that I don't think either team needs each other right now.
No.
Obviously, both teams are top 5 recruiting. Texas doesn't belong there, but that's an issue for another day.
Conspiracies.
When you elevate a borderline 4-star 550 spots in your recruiting ranking out of nowhere, invalidates the rating a little bit for me. But Alyssa, what do you think?
I'm for the rivalry coming back. I saw during rivalry week, Tim Tebow was doing his whole pump up rivalry speech, kind of went all over the place. But he was kind of listing everybody's like opponents. And I'm like sitting there going, I mean, this was before the 7 overtime win, granted. But I was like, why isn't everyone else gets theirs, and it's 2 different conferences. Why can't we have ours? Do I like that the way it's going about it? Absolutely not. I think I agree with Lia that if you're going to do it, it should be a completely different way instead of student body voting.
The legislature route's very interesting.
Yeah, it's just, to me, the weird thing about that is you're potentially putting it, and both presidents from Texas and A&M have kind of voiced support of this. You're putting this reinstatement of the game, of the rivalry, of an entire culture in the state of college football in the hands of kids that have never experienced that rivalry as students. That rubs me a little bit the wrong way, just because I think you need to find a different way than just a bunch of 18 and 19-year-old kids saying, heck yeah, I'd like to play Texas. I mean, because when you think about it, there's a lot of people on campus that do not realize what that means. That would mean with a 9-game or an 8-game SEC schedule, it would essentially be a 9-game like locked-in schedule. So you would have 3 non-conference games. If Texas is good, which they're going to be for the next several seasons, that's a tough non-conference ad. Yeah. Rivalry or not. And then you have to go play the SEC West. I mean, right now, if that lined up, that's probably going to be a week 2 or 3 type of game. And then you're telling me you've got to go on the road to Alabama and Mississippi State and Auburn.
Yeah.
And
host LSU at the end of the year. Yeah.
Plus an SEC East opponent as well.
Exactly.
Don't forget about that.
Thankfully, we're getting Georgia out of the way next year. But
others said thankfully
I
we're
think
getting Georgia.
Vanderbilt is the next year. So we go from Georgia to Vandy, and I'm happy about that.
And we've got Notre Dame around the corner for
that's right.
In 2022.
North Texas and Colorado on the schedule.
We play ACU,
Miami
ACU
in
next
2023,
year?
I believe.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyway, it's just I think putting it up
Tathan will be gone.
putting it up to a student vote, while it is democratic and sounds great, a lot of these kids that are voting yes or no aren't going to take into consideration what that would mean.
And I think also, I mean, I don't think the no's would win, but if it does and this just all fails, I think that this also would give a reason going, oh, well, the student said no, so it shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of also putting a little bit of pressure on us going, okay, should this happen? Is this a good idea? Is this a good idea for our team? And I think that's just a lot of pressure for,
Sure.
I mean, if you're like us who are actually thinking it out.
Right, yeah. It'll be interesting to say the least, but great football talk. I want to get into Texas A&M basketball, which has a little bit of life right now. We have a heartbeat. Luke was there. You were there covering that game too, right?
I was there as well.
Texas A&M knocks off Kansas State over the weekend, 65-53. It really wasn't even that close. We forced a team that likes to get inside to shoot perimeter shots, and they couldn't buy buckets during parts of those games. So Luke and Lia, I'll start with y'all. Y'all were there. What did you see from A&M, And is there something that gives you a little bit of hope going forward this season?
Chuck Mitchell.
You beat me
So
to
in
it.
the second half. I mean, I would just like it to be noted and never forgotten that Wendell Mitchell scores 22 points in the second half. I believe in the last 16 minutes,
Yeah.
Kansas State scored 23.
Yeah. The biggest thing for this game is leadership.
Yeah.
The first game I've seen where there's leadership. So Wendell Mitchell, he plays 8 minutes in the first half maybe, and because he's with 2 fouls, and he's on the bench waving his towel. He's chirping at his team. He's yelling. He's talking. He's on his feet the entire first half when he's in foul trouble, and there hasn't been that all season.
Right.
When you look at our bench prior to the Kansas State game, it's everyone's just chilling right here with their chin in their hand, and then they expect to go out in the court and compete, and they can't. So you've got leadership in Chuck Mitchell. And then you've just got, and that translates to energy with the team. I mean, A&M was down at halftime. And then Chuck Mitchell goes off for 22, like Lia said, in the second half to K-State's 23. He's been money from distance. Starting in the Florida game, he had 20 in the first half. And then now the K-State game. You've got TJ had 6 assists. Nebo played really big minutes. He is a defensive powerhouse. He changes shots around the rim every defensive possession. But the biggest thing is just energy and execution, and that can take A&M a long way. That can take a team with less talent a long way.
Yeah.
And I'm going to add on to that. I think another key to that game was communication.
Yeah.
Chuck Mitchell is out after, I believe, 2 fouls
And he talked
early
about
on.
that in the press
Right, and
conference.
he's on the bench. I mean, he's staying engaged. He's staying vocal. He's into it, and that's a motivating factor, especially when you're at home. When this team can communicate, when they can play better, and I mean, that's just something that you can't ignore, because when you get that momentum rolling, especially after facing the season and the schedule that we've been facing, that's just a key that has to keep on rolling.
Yeah. And granted, they did have 20 turnovers. And still
won.
won. Because they did play a lot of simple basketball. Savion Flagg, a very efficient game. He's been a double-double machine as of late. He did take quite a few threes, but they weren't bad. But it was simple basketball with a few horrible turnovers mixed in there, which we can expect.
Right.
And without J.J. Chandler, who's been a very good player for us the last 2 or 3 games.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about Savion Flagg, 37 minutes from Savion.
Yeah.
The dude was a workhorse, and that's what you've needed to see. You talk about the energy on the bench when guys are still engaged, regardless of if they're in foul trouble. You know, their day as an individual is kind of in jeopardy, but they're still supporting their team. They're making sure that everyone is excited. If you get in foul trouble, if you commit a stupid foul, your teammates are going to let you know about it, but they're going to do so in an encouraging manner. And as soon as you do something great, the bench is going to go excited. And that's what's been missing all season long. Whether we've been winning or losing, it's just been deadpan over on the sidelines, and it's made it really, really hard to watch. So A&M beats Kansas State, the hottest team in the Big 12 at the time. Kansas loses to Texas, so the Big 12 is kind of wide open. Is this a step in the right? It's obviously a step in the right direction for A&M, but does it mean something going forward to the rest of the season, or did we really just catch Kansas State at the right time?
Gosh, that's difficult, because if you were to define this team this year, they are the absolute definition of inconsistency, which is tough because you go from games like the Kansas State game where Reed Arena is crazy loud. Yeah. And then you could possibly go to a Tennessee game that could be absolute murder. Yeah. Because, I mean, Tennessee beat, I believe, Georgia by like 46 points to open SEC play. Yeah. They're an unbelievable team. But it has to be a step in the right direction, because you've got Chuck Mitchell leading, and he's putting 2 games together where he's shooting well from distance, and he's a leader. And you've got 2 games where you showed execution and energy back-to-back. Yes, he lost the Florida game, but Florida hit 11 of 15 threes in the second half. That's hard to win games like that. Yeah. But you've got 2 games in a row of energy and execution, and I am happy with that.
And I think with the lack of inconsistency that we've seen from this Aggie basketball team, that's just another reason to commend Savion Flagg's performance, because he is arguably our most consistent player right now. Yeah. With a team that lacks leadership without Admon Gilder.
I agree.
Yeah, Admon's loss definitely hurt, but Texas A&M may be starting to trend in the right direction. And, I don't think this isn't a postseason team. At this point, you're lucky if you get to go to the NIT. But there's a lot of there's a lot of positives that you can take going forward, especially if Coach Kennedy is still on staff. Obviously, his future's a little bit in question. So, Alyssa, I want to ask you, what is one thing that you need to see through the remainder of this schedule that can let you hold your chin high at the end of the season if you're an Aggie?
I think the biggest thing would probably be that these players start taking ownership of how they're doing on the court and also on the sidelines. Yeah. I think there's a little bit of, with Coach Kennedy, I think it's more him going, one game, I was sitting in a press conference, and he's the one that's taking ownership. Yeah. And the players,
Missouri game was,
the Missouri game, it was awful.
Yeah.
And none of the players were taking ownership after that. And yes, it's Coach Kennedy to a certain point, but these players are the ones on the court with the ball in their hands. And so I think that players like TJ Starks, he's had some rough times.
Yes, he has.
Yeah. But I think there just needs to be some ownership of that. There has been a lack of communication. There's been a lack of leadership and ownership of, okay, 12th man, we've done this wrong, but we're going to do this, this, and this to fix it.
Right.
Just ownership, I think, would be, okay, I can see a turn in this program.
You got anything else on basketball?
I was going to say, we've got players that are dynamic, like TJ Starks and Savion Flagg are the two most elite players on the team. Yeah. And you've got athletic rim-running bigs who play well above the rim, and they're shot blockers in Mekawulu and Josh Nebo. All it takes is energy and enthusiasm, and you've got a leader in place, so we'll see how far this takes us.
All right, that'll do it for Texas A&M basketball talk. Now to the highly anticipated game show portion of the show. When Luke originally proposed this idea, I thought we were going to build Bachelor brackets, but that's not what we're doing. Instead, what we're doing is a little bit of trivia. We've done this before on the podcast. If you listened to us previously, basically, we're going to do redheads versus blondes.
Come on.
And Luke and I have 5 questions each in the categories of history, art, sports, science, and geography.
What are you trying to do to us here?
Art?
Are you smarter than a
Pump
5th
out.
grader? I didn't think I was signing up for
It's
that.
called content.
Do we get call a friend in this?
No, you don't.
We get communication with each other.
Exactly. When we were planning the show, I told Leah I was going to be an absolute liability, so just be prepared for that.
Same.
Luke, we're going to
he's leaving me
defer
hanging.
to the redheads as y'all are in.
Nice.
Sorry.
Okay.
As y'all are going out of style, apparently, according to my professor, redheads are declining.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna bow to you here.
Okay, so you want me to ask you all 5 questions, and then
just do one, and let's go back and forth.
Okay. How about I'll let you choose from the categories.
Okay.
What category would you like?
All right. So history, art,
Geography.
sport, geography.
Geography.
We are communicating at A+ level
We're
right
doing
now.
great. We're doing great.
All right. The question: what is the 3rd most populous state in this union?
In this
union.
California's 1. Texas is 2.
New York.
Oh, I got to give you the choices.
Oh, yeah. I was like, wow, all right, short answer here.
What is the 3rd most populous state? Texas, New York, Ohio, or Florida?
In either Florida
New
or
York
New York.
or Florida.
Yeah. You got all the old people
New
in
York
Florida.
is probably the most densely populated.
Yeah.
They're getting really technical on this.
Yeah, no, I think New York
Are
is
you
probably.
going New York or Florida? Miami's a big city.
Yeah.
There's a lot of big cities.
Boca Raton.
I'm
I wanna
so
say
entertained by this
All
communication.
right, let's go Florida. We'll go Florida.
That is correct.
All right.
Good stuff.
One
That is
for
correct.
one.
Florida, New York is number 4. No, I think Ohio's like 7.
See, I would have been wrong. I was telling Leah before this, in the previous versions when we played this game, I think out of 15 total questions that you've asked me, I think I have
Did you win
3
the last
correct.
game show, or am I 3-0?
Did I? That's a great question.
Y'all should have whoever wins the most then like if you lose, you have to like watch The Bachelor with him or something, like a bet.
Or we could do what
we'll
we
read
were
your
talking
Instagram
about
message from yesterday
before the
about
show.
The
You
Bachelor.
could shave your head.
Well-
I mean, you have a number.
Yeah, you do
I
have
know
a
you
number.
have a number.
Keep the DMs off the airwaves. I mean, I would love. For the record, I DM'd Luke. He put up an Instagram story saying it was a picture of him eating roses, which is also a favorite location of mine, and watching The Bachelor. Now, I could be persuaded if I lost a bet to watch The Bachelor with you. You would not have to coax me into going to Roses. So you.
I will
but-
raise a glass to the Roses haters.
But here's the question.
Actually, I'll pour my glass out for the Roses haters.
Here's the question. Would you rather shave your head if you lost or watch The Bachelor?
Oh, watch The Bachelor. Watch The Bachelor.
I'll
I have
be-
to find a career after
No, this is
so we're gonna keep that.
This is fact, not opinion. It takes about 3 minutes to get hooked on The Bachelor, and then it's done. I witnessed my roommate getting hooked last night. We were watching. It was all three of us, and one of my roommates came in midway through the episode, and about 3 minutes later, he said, "I'm in for the rest of the season."
Oh my goodness.
Okay, but do you like The Bachelor when it's like The Bachelor with all the girls, or do you like Bachelorette when there's one girl and then you have to watch a bunch of dudes?
Answer choice C, Bachelor in Paradise, is
Okay,
phenomenal.
okay.
I don't know. They both have their perks because it's fun to watch all those dudes just get in a room and just be
Like
idiots.
turn really girly too, I think.
But then like
We have strayed so far off the
But
original.
then
We're gonna take your
you
word
look
for it.
at The
Luke.
Bachelor. This is I love it, but I also nitpick at it. Like there is girls that complain to each other about, all right, I don't want to fight for this girl for this guy. Then why'd you come on the show? Of course you're gonna fight. And then there's girls consoling other girls when they're upset about the same boyfriend they're both dating. Like that doesn't make sense, but yet I can't stop watching.
See, the funniest thing is the first night when like he lets go like 10 of them, and then they're crying. Like one of them is crying, going, "Oh, I loved him so much." Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
You met the guy for like 5 minutes.
He was an NFL player.
True love. What can you say?
That's gonna be like my persuasion for you. He played in the NFL, so you'd be sportsing technically.
You would
Wait,
be
what's this guy's
sportsing.
name this year?
Colton
something.
Underwood.
And he played football?
He played football, and then he had to like stop.
He was in the
because-
NFL.
So he
Yeah.
was a little bit more successful than Jordan Rodgers, is what you're saying.
I think he had to stop because of like a medical.
Jordan Rogers and his
I
and his
think
girl
Jordan
just broke
Rodgers
off.
has a pretty
They
solid
They broke off their
career.
engagement.
Oh, no. I knew that they were together, but, well,
Yeah.
Mitch, you have a chance now.
there you go. Oh,
As long as Hollywood
Jordan
celebrity
or the
trivia
other
is not on here, I think we're fine.
well, there you go.
So
You're-
that's question
Yeah,
one about geography.
That's what I was going to say. Weekly Bachelor update.
So sorry.
I'm fine to do
I
that.
think my mother would be appalled. All right.
sorry to
So
threaten that.
our first question to y'all, which category would you like?
Not art.
Luke just knocks one back.
Let's do history.
Come on now.
History. All right. I'm really hoping neither of
I
y'all
am excited for
know
this.
this. I just went to, I believe it was trivia.com for my source. So the history question, who was the first democratically elected president of Russia? Was it Boris Yeltsin? No, this isn't actually that hard if you think about it. Boris Yeltsin. Oh,
Don't
gosh.
give it away.
Nikita Khrushchev, Mikhail Gorbachev, or Vladimir Putin. Everyone's favorite Russian.
First democratically elected.
Yes. As in not by blood and revolution.
Which goes hand in hand, ironically.
Okay.
Boris Yeltsin,
True.
Nikita Khrushchev, Mikhail Gorbachev, Vladimir Putin.
My gut says Big Boris,
I would think.
but also I have no idea. I feel like Boris is tugging my heartstrings right now.
Let's go with it.
From beyond
We'll
the
go
grave.
Boris.
All right, that would be correct.
Yes.
Boris Yeltsin
Come
was the
on.
first democratically elected president of Russia. Actually, he kind of usurped power from his predecessor, but,
Well, what's new?
you know, politics
As
are gonna
we all
politic.
do.
Yeah, that's right. All right. So it's 1-1 right now.
Sure is.
Redheads and blondes.
All right, next category.
I'm going to screw it up. Don't worry.
I'm so excited.
So we have history, art, sports, or science.
Yes.
Let's go.
No,
Okay,
you pick. I pick last.
Let's go history. Let's go history.
Okay. On this day in history,
Oh, goodness.
who was assassinated? Gandhi, JFK, Abraham Lincoln, or if you think he's not alive, Tupac.
No, Tupac was assassinated on my birthday. I know that.
That's
So-
such a sad.
I want to say JFK
well,
was in
okay.
April. Am I wrong?
Oh, that's a good question.
could be
That was
completely-
67. I don't think it was January. He his the top of his car was down, so it wouldn't have been January here.
Okay. Logic, reasoning.
Yeah. Just to clarify, Tupac, my aunt sent me for my 22nd birthday a like breakdown of all the things that happened on November 12th, 1996, and one of them was Tupac was assassinated.
Did that like ruin your
January.
birthday?
I mean, I don't listen to his music, so
Oh.
I also read a very convincing Twitter thread that defended his
Yeah,
art
I've
still
read
beating
said thread.
Yes, it was.
That was 3 rhymes in a row.
It was incredible. It was incredible. Okay,
So we're between
Gandhi
Gandhi and
and-
Abraham Lincoln. For some reason, I thought that
wow,
was February.
that's a great question. I'll be honest, I have no idea, so I'll defer to you.
Oh, that's not fair.
He
If
just
you
doesn't
give
wanna
it to
screw
me,
it up.
I'm going to flip my mental
I mean,
coin
I just
and say
kind of want to say.
Lincoln.
I just want to say. Oh man,
Were you going to say Gandhi?
when did the war end though?
What, the Civil War?
Yeah, when did?
1865.
Well, yeah, but what day?
I just love how like we were like, let's
You
go
wanna
with
just go with
this,
Abe Lincoln?
and they're like,
We're going with our heart. They're
You just wanna go with
thinking
Abe
everything
Lincoln?
cerebrally here.
you know, there's not much at stake here, so I'm kind
True.
of.
Oh, there's a
sure.
lot at stake.
All right, well,
Mitch's
Abe Lincoln.
shaved head.
All right, Abe Lincoln. Final answer.
Gandhi is the correct answer.
All right. Sorry.
That's unfortunate. It's okay. All right, 1 for 2.
Turns out I was the ticking time bomb.
Still a good average. All right, so y'all have art, sports, science, or geography.
Let's go art.
Art.
Let's get it over with. Come on.
Okay.
All right. For art, what artist was
You are ridiculous with
famously
these questions.
struck in the face with a mallet
Gosh.
by a malicious rival, disfiguring him for life?
Where did you get these questions?
Disfiguring him for life.
Trivia.com?
Yes.
Trivia.
Titan?
All right.
Which I think that's how you say that name. Rembrandt, Raphael, Michelangelo.
Ooh.
See, I know nothing about
So-
art, so.
I did take an art history class at the accredited Blinn Junior College.
Oh, I did too.
Buck 'em.
Why did Rembrandt sound so good when I heard it? Can you
If
go through the answer choices again?
Yeah.
It's probably the D and then the.
Titan,
The
which
T.
he has an extra I in his
From
name, so I think
Rembrandt
that's
to
how you
Titan.
say his name. Rembrandt, Raphael, or Michelangelo.
If it's tugging at the heart, go with it.
Okay, so he got struck in the face with a mallet.
With a mallet.
disfiguring him for life.
Yes.
Okay.
They called him Smush Face after that.
Don't know.
I
Smush
don't
was a
know if
word
that's
way back when.
I don't know. If that's
I'm gonna go Rembrandt. Final answer.
all right, it's actually Michelangelo.
Dang it! Golly.
Which was the artist that had his ear?
Van Gogh. Vincent Van Gogh.
Van Gogh. That's right. That's right.
I was gonna say Peter in the garden. Oh no, he chopped off a guard's ear.
A little Bible history. You've had your history question, sir. All right, so each of us are 1 for 2. So back over to the redheads.
All right. Which category would you like to indulge in next?
All right, so we have art, sports, or science.
Science. Get it out of the way.
Science. All right.
Oh yeah, here we go.
Ours isn't even really a science question, but it was under that label, so I went with it. Anyway, back to you.
For the science category, what is the heaviest naturally occurring element?
Ooh.
Sulfur, uranium, plutonium, or lead?
He's trying to trick us. He's trying to trick us with lead.
In the back of my mind, I have this somewhere. I just got to dig it out. I don't think it's lead, and I
no, because he's trying to trick us with lead.
I don't think it's
Sulfur?
sulfur. I don't know if it's sulfur though.
Uranium or plutonium?
I mean, I wouldn't want to pick up either uranium or plutonium. Shoot. I have no basis to favor one or the other, but which planet do you want to go with? Or sulfur? Is it sulfur?
Is it sulfur?
I
You
don't know.
you just you
I don't
seem
think it's sulfur.
you seem fairly confident that it's not sulfur.
No.
So by process of elimination, do
By
we
process
want
of
Pluto or
elimination of
Uranus?
confidence and a category of no knowledge.
You know, I really want to give plutonium some love here. We kicked.
I would go with uranium.
Okay, uranium
But
it
I
is.
was wrong last time, so
No, I'll ride with that. Uranium.
That is correct.
Good stuff.
Yes.
Well
Redemption.
done.
Building
We
nuclear
are the
weapons over
comeback
here.
The
train.
most entertaining process of elimination is happening right across the desk.
All right, so we're 2 for 3.
Putting that good
We-
Texas A&M education.
You and
to
I
use.
together have
right.
almost as many answers as I have solo in
That
3
is a
games.
very
So,
true statement.
Thank you
So
for
you're
putting up with my
welcome.
ignorance. Yes. All right, Team Redhead, you have sports or science left, or geography. There's 3.
Your choice, Miss Red.
Let's do sports.
Oh, come on now.
Sports for 400. Which pitcher holds the record for most career complete games? Is it the Doc Roy Halladay, Nolan Ryan, Sandy Koufax, or Cy Young?
That is a list of pitchers right there.
Solid
Oh.
observation, Luke.
Hey, I'm not rebuking your process of elimination over there.
It's true. We do have to be nice
Okay. Man.
No, we don't. We're winning.
for the moment.
Um,
Roy Halladay, rest in peace. Nolan Ryan, Sandy Koufax, Cy Young.
what jumps off the metaphorical page to you?
I mean, I don't know.
Part of me really wants to feel Sandy. Horrible phrasing. Part of me wants to guess Sandy Koufax. Oh, but good old Cy Young. Give me.
That's the only thing is like, if I.
But then Nolan Ryan had 7 no hitters / perfect games.
Plus beef.
Plus, he does make incredible sausage in here.
Oh, I went straight to the balance, elbow, eyes, follow through for beef. That good old Dallas Mavericks basketball camp. I'm gonna go Sandy Koufax.
Wow, no consultation at all. Sandy Koufax is incorrect.
Gosh.
It would be Cy Young. This is going to blow your mind. Cy Young threw 749 complete games. Only
What?
3 pitchers have ever started that many games, and it would be Cy Young, Nolan Ryan, and Don Sutton.
Wow.
Have mercy.
Yeah. Yeah. So Cy Young is without a doubt, if not the greatest pitcher of all time, probably 1 or 2.
Goodness gracious.
So, we're up now. What?
Art.
2 to
2 to
1.
1.
2 to 1. All right. So we have art or geography.
Art or sports?
Art or sports. Let's go. Sports?
Sports.
So let's do sports.
Sports.
We'll save art for the painful end.
How many schools have back-to-back Heisman winners?
Oh, goodness. You gotta
Oh,
2. I think it's 2. I think it's 2.
okay.
Isn't it?
Now, how many schools have back-to-back Heisman winners?
No.
This is without the USC one, since we're gonna consider Reggie Bush's was
Okay.
taken out,
Yeah. Okay.
so that will not be included.
So it's Oklahoma
Is
and
it
Ohio State.
2, 3, 4, or 5?
2.
Right? Oklahoma with Baker and Kyler, and Ohio State with who won it? Who's the only guy to win it twice? The running back. We'll go with 2.
The answer is 4.
What?
Oh my god.
What?
Okay.
All right, I need some names.
Yeah, I'm
here.
excited to hear this.
Okay, so Oklahoma,
Mm-hmm.
Ohio State,
Yes.
Yale,
What?
and Army.
Well, I was out.
Army in the
What
40s.
years were those?
Army in the 40s,
Wrong.
and then the Yale in like the 30s.
Oh my gosh. Back when they were powerhouses
Okay.
of nobody football.
I'm also drawing a blank on the running back for Ohio State.
I got
Which
it.
I
Eddie
feel-
George pops into my head, but it's not him.
Not Eddie George, who was a Goliath of a man.
Archie
Griffin.
Yeah, Archie Griffin. No disrespect to Mr. Griffin, who I know is a staunch supporter of the podcast.
Sorry, Mr. Griffin, for forgetting your name.
Thank you for tuning in.
Anyway, okay, well, shoot. I did not know Yale or Army.
Well, we got the 2 recent ones.
But we
and
did
I
get the
think
2 most recent ones.
You
So,
sure did.
all
Hello.
right. So we have 2 of 4 currently. So we can still go 3 of 5 if we get art right. But over to y'all. And you have science and geography left.
What do you want?
Let's do science.
Science.
Science. All right. In 2004, what was discovered on the island of Flores in Indonesia? Was it A, the closest creature to an ancient dinosaur, the remains of a hobbit-sized society, a tribe whose average age is over 90 years old, or a tribe which only communicates by song?
On what island?
The island of Flores.
Jeez.
I really hope I'm pronouncing that correctly.
How are we going to go about this here?
How else would you pronounce Flores?
It's in Indonesia.
What
so-
was found for the first time?
Time?
Yes, discovered on the island.
Discovered. Okay.
Creature close to a dinosaur, hobbit society, average age is over 90 years old, or a tribe that only communicated in song.
See, I feel like a dinosaur's been discovered.
I don't think it's song because that doesn't make sense, but that's horrendous reasoning. I don't think average age of 90.
So you're thinking a dinosaur?
What was the other answer choice?
Remains of a hobbit society.
In
Of a hobbit society.
Round doors.
Of a
wizards,
creature
dwarves.
close to a dinosaur?
The closest living creature to an ancient dinosaur.
So
as in, like,
it's
lineage.
living.
Yes.
What do you think?
See, I don't think it's I don't really know, but I don't think it's a hobbit society. But on the other hand, I think we have
The
creatures
most realistic answers are dinosaur.
Trick
And-
question. It's a society that sang and lived to be over 90 years old. It's a combination.
So it's the most realistic are dinosaur and
Hobbits.
well.
That's
Is that
not
what you're
realistic.
90-year-old people. Tribe.
Okay, so there's one realistic answer choice.
No, I'm trying to figure out what he thinks is most realistic.
I think the most realistic is a closest to a dinosaur. But man, a tribe that communicates in song. If they added dance, I would move there.
This is my question. When did this happen?
in 2004.
Ooh.
See, that changes
Could have been a
things.
prime age for paleontology.
Correct.
Also, possibly the prime of Friends. Ross Geller could have been there.
Correct. Rachel.
Maybe that was the time of when they were split up, though.
Oh, true.
They were on a break.
Possible spoiler alert if you haven't watched Friends.
Oh, who hasn't
Which
watched
is
Friends by
heresy
now?
if you haven't watched
Yeah.
Friends. Okay, you
TikTok.
You can you lead the way here.
I feel like I've been waiting
24-second
since
shot call. Let's go.
2004 for this answer.
Okay. Go through the answer choices one more time.
The closest creature in lineage to an ancient dinosaur.
Okay, maybe.
Remains of a hobbit-sized society.
No.
A tribe whose average age is over 90 years old. A tribe which only communicated by song.
Oh, so I eliminated one. Okay, awesome.
And let us remind you what is at stake here.
This is a chance at tying.
Tying.
And
I know,
sending
so I
Luke
feel
and
like
I scrambling to the interwebs to find a bonus question.
Well, I hope Luke finds the bonus question, not from trivia.com.
Okay, I'm
Mitch.
thinking either 90-year-olds or dinosaur.
10.
Let's just go with the dinosaur.
Final answer.
Dinosaur is incorrect.
No way.
It is the remains of a hobbit-sized society.
No way.
I kid you not. I have no other details on that, but I can Google them after the show if you'd
We
like.
will be Googling.
Wow.
So, I believe that has secured us the victory.
Well, I want to know what
Correct?
the art question
But yes,
was.
I want to know what the art question is.
Wait, it's 3-1?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
So sorry.
No. It's 2-1.
It's 2-1.
I thought we got 3, did we not? We got
We got geography.
geography.
We got science.
Oh,
Yeah.
is that it? Ooh, so this is for the win. So this is for the win.
Okay.
So
okay.
you-
My
Okay.
math skills are coming back to bite
Okay.
me.
So what's the art?
Art.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, no.
What is the largest art museum in the world?
Ooh.
Is it the Louvre in Paris? Is it the National Museum of China? Is it the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City?
No.
Or is it the Art Institute of Chicago?
I know that the Louvre has the most visitors every year.
Yes. It's not.
What was the
it's not
question?
the Met.
The largest art museum in the world. The
What
Louvre.
constitutes the largest?
Like
the
square footage.
square footage?
It's not the Met, right?
No, it's not the
Okay.
Met.
It's the Louvre, the National Museum of China, the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City, or the Art Institute of Chicago.
I mean, I want to say it's the Louvre, but then you've got the Great Wall of China and the Forbidden City and the Undead Army, which are all massive.
The National Museum of China
I've
just
never
sound-
heard of that.
I want to
though.
say the Louvre.
All right, we'll go with the Louvre.
Well, now it's all on me.
No, I was leaning towards the Louvre too. I've never
All right,
heard
well,
of the
let's
National
just-
Museum of China, so we'll go
I
with
haven't
the Louvre.
either, so we're going with the Louvre.
That is correct.
Woo! That's a win. Feels good.
Lost does
Feels
not
good.
feel
I don't
good.
have to watch The Bachelor this week. We didn't come up with anything that you had to do. So the final question, for kicks and giggles.
It's like, cut your hair.
Yeah.
We could have done.
Cut your hair, donate it to charity. Oh wait.
I'm already righteous enough.
How much money did you raise for that, by the way?
2,500 bones.
Wow.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I
I did not pocket it, by the way. I donated it.
Do you miss the long
Good to
hair?
know.
That's the true question.
You know, I would humbly say I'm a lady killer now with the short hair.
Hey, no.
I do miss the long hair. Man buns were fun, being a staple in the man bun community. But taking 5 seconds to dry my hair off after a shower is sublime.
Yes.
And about a pea size of shampoo.
Can't
There you
relate.
go.
So
Can't
I do
really-
miss the towel wraps doing this number right here. So that was fun.
So you're gonna do it again?
No, I think I'm retired of the long hair game.
That is just
Growing up, we're
There you
so
go.
proud of
It was
you.
about time.
breaking news. And for all the ladies that watch us on our newly founded YouTube channel,
That's right.
Double Covered Sports Talk, you can see just how attractive he's looking over here. If you're listening over Spotify or iTunes, head over to YouTube and see just how gorgeous Luke is. Shameless plug. All right, final question for you guys. It's a geography question. Which African nation has the most pyramids? Egypt, Sudan, Algeria, or Libya?
The obvious one,
Would be Egypt.
but is it,
Too obvious.
or is he tricking us to make us think it's too
Can
obvious?
you sing Walk Like an Egyptian for me? I wasn't serious.
24-second shot clock. Let's go.
Okay, so Egypt, Libya, Algeria, and what was the other-
Sudan.
And Sudan.
Or
Sudan.
Sudan, technically.
I don't
Oh.
think it. You know what? I'm keeping my mouth shut because I have cost us the game.
Well, I've got multiple incorrect. I'm gonna let you guess here.
Okay, I'm gonna just talk it through.
Okay.
All right. So
There was
What did
literally
he say?
Continue.
Rams or
zero
Patriots? What did he
pressure on
say?
this answer because we already lost.
okay, what are the options again?
Egypt, Sudan, Algeria, Libya.
Okay, I don't think it's Sudan.
I, for some reason, feel so weird hearing Sudan.
That's what I'm saying. I don't.
I'm so used to Sudan.
Okay.
You know that's how you say it?
Yeah, technically is. Like you say Iran instead of Iran.
I
I
think
walked.
it's. I think
Can't
it's the. I think it's the Texas way of saying things.
It was a fantastic joke.
Dad jokes. I'm just practicing.
Back to you, Alyssa.
The word you're looking for is anyways.
Anyways, back to the question. I don't tie pyramids to. I'm not even gonna say it because y'all are gonna be cracking jokes to that country. So that's my only thing. But Egypt seems obvious, but too obvious.
Yeah.
I feel like just go with Egypt. But I feel like
You want to go with Egypt?
I'm kind of scared too. But yeah.
Egypt, final answer.
All right, the land of the pharaohs is not correct. It is Sudan. They have over 200 pyramids within their national
So
borders.
everyone going to Egypt to see the pyramids.
They have the biggest, the largest pyramids.
Okay, so I wasn't.
Well, South America actually does. But regardless, Sudan has over 200. So, actually, not to rub this in, y'all talked your way out of 3 correct answers with Cy Young, the Hobbits, and Sudan.
The Hobbits just didn't sound right.
Yeah, I know. They typically are accompanied by wizards and elves and whatnot. So,
Yeah.
that's fair.
Lord of the Rings.
Pics of Bilbo Baggins or it didn't happen.
I've never seen The Hobbit or Lord of the Rings or Star Wars, and I am perfectly content.
But
Same
you watch
here.
The Bachelor
I have a-
on a regular basis.
100%.
That's an issue we're going to have to unpack on another episode. But, wow.
Congratulations on the win.
I appreciate it. You know, I'll come up with something you have to pay me back with
Oh,
later.
maybe your Christmas gift I still have not given you.
Yeah, I did just give my Christmas gift to Luke, and it is January 30th when we're recording this. But that's going to do it for episode 26 of Double Coverage Sports Talk. It's been a blast with Elisa and Lia coming on. Thank you guys so much for doing that. We will be back next week. A very exciting episode on deck as Luke dances into the night. Maybe sings, and you can join a mythical society on the island of
When
Flores.
I'm 90, of course.
Well, that too. Next week, we'll be doing the mock draft. I published a mock draft on elevatedsportsreport.com 1.0. If you have not read it, go check that out. We'll be breaking down all 32 first-round picks and then the 3 teams that do not have a pick in the first round. So Cowboys, Saints, Bears next week. We're excited about that. Listen to us on Spotify, iTunes. You're on Twitter at
Luke Big Red.
It is Luke Big Red. His social names are all a little bit different, but they're all versions of that. I'm at Mitch Mason 10. We thank you guys so much for listening and being part of this show. Continue to reach out to us on Twitter in the comments on iTunes, and obviously subscribe on our new YouTube channel at Double.
And thanks to the ladies for joining us.
Absolutely.
It was a blast.
Glad we could make double coverage. It's quadruple
Quadruple.
coverage today.
Quadruple coverage.
Cover 4 for the day. We will do this again, I'm sure. Like I said, that's it for episode 20. No, I'm being legitimate. That was fun.
To be
We will
completely
do it
honest,
again.
I thought you were totally kidding about
The
having us
whole-
on until yesterday. We were joking.
We were joking. When
but
this
it's been
all
fun. Thank you guys
happened.
for letting us come on and share this
Hey, the more the
experience
merrier.
with you.
That's right.
It's been great.
It
So,
has been fun.
Anyway,
An absolute murder of the airwaves today.
absolutely. All right, that's going to do it. Y'all have a good one, and we'll talk to you guys next week.